Hi guys, sorry my internet is being weird tonight. I think we're good though. My room is arranged a little bit differently as well, but I think, yeah, should work quite well. I have my window open because it is hot in here, but if the traffic is too loud and you're having a hard time hearing me, let me know. Mel, if you're there, if you could send me a text. I have my phone over by my mat. That would be awesome. We are going to focus on stretching and mobility tonight. Yeah, I'm kind of liking doing 1 week that's a little bit more intense, and then the next week chilling out a little bit more. If you have any yoga blocks, you can have those handy. We may have opportunity to use them. And we will get started lying on our backs. And then on your back, I'll have you bring your feet wide and knock your knees in towards each other. And rest your hands on your stomach. Close your eyes. Settle into some steady rhythmic breaths. You can inhale and exhale through your nose, or inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth if you prefer that. Let's go for about 10 cycles of breath, and you might find that it's soothing to count out those breaths and just give yourself that one thing to focus on. Let's hug knees into chest and rock side to side. And then bring your palms over your kneecaps and guide your knees in a big circle. And then we'll switch directions. And then we'll bring arms out to the sides. Have your elbows at shoulder height, and then lift your fingertips up towards the ceiling. So it's like a goalpost shape, but a little bit different than we typically do it in yoga. And you're going to work to keep both shoulders on the floor as you let your knees rock off to the right. And your left hip will lift away from the floor, but your left shoulder won't. And then you'll come back through center and switch sides. And this might be a very small shift to the side, depending on how mobile your spine is. Try to keep your thighs stacked for the most part. And next time you bring your knees over to the right, you can go ahead and let them drop all the way to the floor and let your hands drop back towards the floor as well. And if your left shoulder lifts away from the mat, that's okay. Go ahead and drop your chin towards your left shoulder. Then we'll rock through center and let knees drop all the way over to the left. You can turn and look to the right. Let's rock back through center. Roll along your spine 3 times, come up to balance on your seat at the top of the roll. And then once you come up, you'll bring your right leg out in front of you and your left leg behind you so that you're in a shin box shape. So that looks like this from the front. I have my right foot to the inside of my left thigh. And I have my left foot tucked back behind me. And I'm just going to fold forward. And your left hip will probably lift away from the mat. That's just fine. Let's sit up and extend your legs out a little bit. So just move everything out. We're going to hinge forward and you're going to press into your mat with your right leg. And so you can lift your left leg away from the mat. And then from here, you'll circle the left foot up and around and step it to the outside of the right foot. And then you'll pick your foot up and circle it around and lean forward, but don't set the leg down. It's just going to hover. We'll do that a couple more times. And the whole time you're pressing into the ground with your right leg to find stability. Circle back, lean forward, lift your left knee away from the ground, and step forward. And then we'll keep the left foot where it is and twist off to the left. And then twist to the right. And then from here, plant your right hand, extend your right foot. Your left foot is stepped over. And you are set up for one of my favorite side plank modifications. So I want you to strongly flex your right ankle, push into your left foot, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, and reach your left arm overhead. My left palm is facing the floor. And I'm going to drop my hips towards the floor and set them all the way down and reach my left hand in the direction of my right foot. Let's press up and over. Lift rib cage, left side of the rib cage towards the ceiling, and then sink down. One more time. And sink down. And then from here, just rotate both hands all the way back behind you. Square your hips towards the floor and come into half frog pose. So my left leg is out to the side at a 90-degree angle. I'm just going to rest my head and the entire front of my body into the mat. If you're not already resting to the right side of your face, go ahead and flip onto it. Right arm into a goalpost shape. My elbow is at shoulder height. I'm going to press into my left hand and step to my left foot behind me and turn this into a shoulder and pec stretch for the right side of the body. And then roll onto your stomach. Press back to child's pose. and up into downward facing dog. Let's walk feet to hands. Step your feet wide and tuck your peace fingers, so the fingers you would use to make a peace sign, around your big toes. Use this little bind to pull yourself more deeply into a forward fold. See if you can relax the grip of the muscles around the base of the neck. And we'll unroll to stand. Feet step into hips with distance apart. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's step feet wide. Toes turn out. Sink down into a yoga squat. Slot your elbows to the insides of your knees. Lift your chest. And then set your hips down to the floor. Roll along your spine 3 times. If you want to reach your legs overhead and turn this into more of a plow pose, go for it. And then after that third rock, you'll come up and you'll set up your shin box with your left leg in front of you. So left shin across the front, right heel tucked in close to the right side of your butt, and then you'll fold forward. Let's lift up and expand the legs away from each other a bit. Press down into the mat with your left leg. Hinge forward from the hips to lean your weight forward. And then lift your right leg away from the floor. Try to lift your knee and your ankle evenly. And then lift the foot up and around and land it to the outside of the left knee. And then we'll reverse that. So stand into the left leg, get your support. And bring it forward. One more time. And then right foot lands and we'll twist to the right. And twist to the left. And then extend your left leg out straight. Plant your left hand back behind you. Turn your pointer finger on the left hand there towards the top of the mat. Flex your left ankle. Press the floor away. Lift your hips. Reach your right arm overhead. And then rest hips all the way down and reach back. Up and over. And down and back. Up and over. And down and back. And then from here, we're just going to rotate around onto our stomachs. You should be facing the top of your mat again. And you're bringing your right leg out to the side into half frog. left arm finds a goalpost shape. You're resting on the left side of your face. Roll into a stretch for the left shoulder. It might not be much of a roll at all, depending on how restricted the joint is in this posture. Let's roll back through center and press into child's pose. And lift up towards down dog. And walk your feet to your hands. We'll step the feet wide again. This time we'll slide palms of hands underneath soles of feet. Point your fingers back towards your heels. And let's release and unroll to stand. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank. Lower through a push-up. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. Step feet wide and move them in a little bit closer to the hands. Center your left hand in front of you. And then reach your right hand back and take a hold of the outside of the left leg at any point. If you can't reach it, just walk your feet in a little bit closer to your hands. And then we'll switch sides, right hand forward. Left hand threads through to take a hold of the right leg. Try to keep your hips centered. Release. Bring your knees down to the mat. Bring your toes together and sit back to child's pose with wide knees. And then from child's pose, plant your palms into the mat. Lift up, lift your feet, pull them in towards your butt, roll over your knees, and lower into a push-up from your knees. Press arms to straight, and sit your hips back. Let's do that a few more times. You can put some cushioning underneath your knees if this feels uncomfortable. Let's do two more. We're using this mainly to get the shoulders moving and engaged more than to do the most difficult push-up you've ever done. And after you've done 5 of those, you're going to sit up into a cross-legged seat. You can stay at the back of your mat, but I'll turn towards you. Let's inhale and bring the arms wide, palms up towards the ceiling. Thumbs drive back, sternum lifts. And then exhale, we're gonna cross the left arm over the right and wrap towards eagle pose arms. So you're winding the arms as tightly as you can, bringing the palms in contact with each other. The higher you cross the arms, the more arm you'll have to wrap, basically. And we're gonna look over to the right and rotate to the right. Lift the elbows up and then arc through center, over to the left, and elbows will come down and then in towards the belly button. So you're drawing a big circle with your elbows, and there's rotation happening through the spine and the rib cage. We're going to do 3 in this first direction. And then we'll switch. So we're switching from clockwise, or from, I don't remember which way I was going actually. There we go. Let's go ahead and sit up. Inhale, bring the arms wide, send the thumbs back. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. And then we'll bring the arms forward and cross right arm on top of left so that the arms wrap the opposite way. And we'll take 3 big circles each direction with the arms in this setup. Let's start off going over to the right again and lifting up. Arc over and down and up. Try to make this circle as big as you can. And we'll switch directions. We'll go off to the left, up and over, and down to the right. And then come back through center and release. Make your way out into down dog. Walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand tall, reach up. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, as you halfway lift. This is where blocks underneath the hands might be helpful. We're going to send the left leg back. So it's kind of like warrior 3, but I want you to be paying attention to just maintaining the shape of a halfway lift in your trunk and in your standing leg, and then the left leg just reaches back. So we inhale to a halfway lift, and then exhale as you fold, you'll just pull your left knee in, let your torso hang. You can put a little bend in the right knee if you like. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, halfway lift, left leg reaches back. Exhale, everything kind of collapses in and down. Inhale, open. And exhale, squeeze in. This time as we inhale and reach the left leg back, we'll step all the way back into a lunge stance. Set your back knee down, but keep the back toes tucked under. Let's inhale and reach arms overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands down to frame your right foot. Lift your left knee to hover and press back to a hovering half splits. We'll inhale forward and lunge and reach the arms up. Back knee rests down. And then exhale, hands for support. Lift your back knee, pull back to half splits. Inhale, lunge. And exhale, shift back. From this hovering half splits, let's pivot around to a wide-legged fold. Walk your hands out in front of you. Press into your palms and sit your hips way back. And then imagine that there's a marble on your low back. You're going to try to get it to roll off to the right a little bit just by tipping the right hip towards the floor, lifting the left hip a little bit higher. And then you'll switch so you can make that marble roll over to the left. What we're going for here is a stretch in the inner thigh muscles. It's a small movement that creates a big stretch unless you have particularly flexible adductors, which most people don't. Let's do a couple more of these little shifts. And walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Send your right foot back. Move through a vinyasa with the right foot lifted if you like. Let's step or hop feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand tall, reach up. And exhale, fold. If you're going to incorporate your blocks, do so now. Find a halfway lift with the right leg reaching back. And then fold and draw right knee in as your head hangs towards the floor. Inhale back. Exhale in. Inhale back. Exhale in. And then from here, we'll step back to a lunge, lower the right knee. Right toes stay tucked under, lift arms up. And then bring hands down to frame left foot and shift back into our floating half split. So my right knee is about an inch away from the floor. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, shift it back. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, shift back. Lift your back knee. Pivot around to a wide-legged fold. But this time we're going to walk hands back between the legs. Turn your fingertips in the same direction as your heels. Press into your palms and use that contact to draw yourself deeper into the fold. Then we'll walk out of the fold back around towards the top of the mat. Hands to frame the left foot. And into a vinyasa. Step or hop feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Reach up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back to child's pose. Bring your knees wide and thread your left arm across your chest. Rest your left ear down to the mat. And then we'll switch sides. Thread your right arm across, rest your right ear to the mat. And then let's bring both arms forward and lift the hips and work into puppy pose. If you want to hold on to the edge of your mat in puppy pose, that can be a nice way to feel a little bit more secure in this posture. If you feel like you're just kind of sliding forward, drop your chest towards the mat. Hips stay over the knees more or less. Lift your tailbone towards the ceiling. And you might find that pulling forward on the edge of your mat a little bit allows you to engage the muscles in your shoulders in this posture in a new way. Carefully slide forward onto your stomach. Tent your fingertips off of your mat to either side. And we'll lift up, draw the chest forward, and then lean forward and drop right shoulder in, look back over your left. Let's lift up through center once again. And left shoulder drops forward, look back over your right. And work your way through this little sequence a couple more times. Lift up one final time through center. Drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And then lower all the way down. Press back into embryo pose. Bring your knees together. Bring your arms back. If you want to squeeze your hands into fists, if your fingertips are feeling a little bit worked, go for it. And then we'll lift up into down dog. And we'll walk feet up to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's give a little bit more attention to our legs now. You can use your block in this next sequence if you like. You're going to come onto the top of your right foot back behind you and drop into the foot a little bit. Try to get a stretch into the front of the shin and the top of the foot. And then you're going to work to sit all the way down onto the left shin and the right hip. Now I guess you can't really see super well, but I'm sitting on the block with my right hip, so that would be a good modification if it works for you to just kind of sit all the way down. My butt isn't touching the floor, but I'm as close to the floor as I can be, then stick with that. And then we'll push into the right foot and we'll stand all the way up, kind of pushing off with the top of the left foot as well. Let's do that 5 times. So come down and sit back and then push up. And then this last time that you stand up, we'll hug your left knee into the chest and then send it back. Find warrior 3 for a moment, hands at your heart. Reach your left heel away from you. And then step your left foot back, set your left hand down, and pivot around towards the pinky toe edges of your feet. So we'll build on that movement we did earlier in class. Let's reach the right arm overhead. And then let's sit the hips close to the floor, but just let them hover. Reach your right arm back. Lift up. And lower. One more time. And lower. Let's lift up and let's pivot all the way around and find Skandasana with the right knee bent and the left leg long. Bring your hands to your heart, or you can rest your hands on the floor for support. From here, we're going to try to sit all the way back onto your butt and then rock forward and push into your right foot and lift away from the floor again. Let's try that a couple more times. And this last time that you lift up, slide your left foot in so that you're in a yoga squat. Drop your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Rotate your right palm up. Reach your left arm up and have the palm facing towards the ceiling as well. And then we'll switch sides. Left shoulder to inside of left knee. Left palm up. Right arm back, right palm up as well. And then let's release. Our right foot is almost where we want it already. We're just going to bring hands to the inside of the right foot and shift around into lizard lunge. Drop your left knee down to the mat and come onto the top of your left foot. And then you can just walk your hands forward. You can put your forearms on blocks. It's one of my favorite ways to deepen this pose. Or if it works for you, you can put your forearms all the way down onto the floor. And a really common cue here is only put your forearms on the floor if your back isn't rounded. That's not as important as it might seem often in the way it's taught. If your back is rounding, then the pose is illustrating less true hip stretch, but that's not necessarily the worst thing. Take a couple more breaths here. Option to sweep the right arm up and around and take a hold of the left foot. then release. And make your way into down dog. Walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand tall, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's come onto the top of the right foot. Drop into a little bit of a stretch. And then lower with control all the way down to sit back as close as you can onto your right heel. You could have a block underneath your left hip. And then we'll push into the legs and stand up. Let's press up and back into warrior three. Drive right heel behind you. And then bend into your left knee, step your right foot way back behind you, land your right hand. I'm going to scoot my left foot back down the mat a little bit and roll towards the pinky toe edges of both feet. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling, reach your left arm over. And then drop your hips and reach your left arm back. We'll do that a couple more times. And this next time that you reach up and over, we're going to pivot around so that we can set up Skandasana with the left knee bent. And then you'll sit all the way down towards the floor and press back up. Let's try that movement a couple more times. And then we'll rotate towards the top of the mat to take lizard lunge. Drop your right knee. Either walk your hands forward or rest forearms onto blocks or forearms down to the ground if you like. And let's go ahead and lift up. I knew I skipped something. We went into Malasana, didn't we? Let's come into our yoga squat by just bringing the leg in and around. The right leg in and around. And this time I want us to bring right shoulder to inside of right knee and try to face the back of your hand towards the floor, back of the right hand towards the floor, and reach your left arm up and try to face the back of your left hand towards the floor as well. So we have a lot of internal rotation in the shoulders now rather than external. And then we'll switch sides. Left shoulder to inside of left knee. Left hand rotates towards the back, left hand rotates towards the floor. Right arm reaches wide, right hand, back of right hand towards the floor. And then we'll release. And we'll circle back around for the last thing that I forgot, which was taking a hold of your right foot with your left hand, if you like, in your lizard lunge. I want you to scoot your mat up alongside a wall. I just have this closet door here, which is not going to be ideal, but it'll work. So long edge of your mat up alongside a wall. And kind of depending on your body, you may be able to take your block and sandwich it between the inside of your left knee and the wall. If you're a person who's much bigger than me, that's not going to work if you have standard size yoga blocks. You don't need this. It's just a little bit of extra nice support. We're going to reach both arms forward, and I'm set up so that the outside of my right arm is against the wall. The back of my right hand is against the wall. I'm going to keep my hips where they are. I'm going to keep my right hand where it is. I'm going to sweep my left arm back. So it's a really nice spinal twist and shoulder stretch. Then I can close back in. Let's do that 5 times. So you get some leverage from the wall. The wall is keeping you from compensating by shifting the shoulders or the hips very much. Try to keep your torso relatively upright. Final one. And then we'll switch sides. So you'll want to rotate around so you're facing the opposite direction. Get your left arm up against the wall, maybe a block between the left knee and the wall if you want to take advantage of the fact that you have the prop available. Right arm reaches forward, leverage into the wall, and twist the right arm back. I'm running out of space. Let's do that 5 times. Okay, great. Scoop that out. And come down onto my back. We're going to bring right ankle above left knee. Arms out to the sides with palms down. Bridge your hips up. Push into your left heel. Try to drop your right knee towards the floor as best you can. And then set your hips down and bring your hands around your left thigh or left shin. We'll switch sides. We'll plant the right foot. We'll flex the left ankle above the right knee. And bridge the hips up for 5 breaths. And then come down and hug the legs in. Let's switch into happy baby. release your feet. If you want to put on socks or a sweater, go for it. And we'll take about 5 minutes of Shavasana. And if lying on your back is the most comfortable option for you, to go for it. If you want to substitute legs at the wall, or lying on your stomach, or anything similar, go for it. Let's try to just rest quietly for a few moments. See if you can resist the temptation to use the time for whatever your mental hobby of choice is, whether that's worrying or planning or reflecting or ruminating. And when you inevitably start to notice yourself doing one of those things, just invite your brain back into the present moment. Hug knees into chest. And rock off to one side. Rest your head on your arms. Lift up to a cross-legged seat. Rest your hands on your knees and settle your shoulders away from your ears. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And an open mouth exhale. Breathe in. And sigh it out. Breathe in. And sigh it out. Bring your hands in over your heart. Bring to mind 3 things about today that happened today or that were part of your day that you are thankful for. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. Appreciate your participation. If you have any requests for future classes, let me know. And hopefully I will see you here next Monday or sooner on my Instagram if you're looking for more class options. I will put a comment with a link to that as well. And be sure to check out the videos put together by other Adventure Rock instructors.